In-house in studio, we have the rising star, rising prospect, and a very, very talented boxer coming up. And everybody knows him as Dinamita Jose Arellano. Jose, mucho gusto que nos vengas a visitar. I'm glad you have us here. You're in studio with us. And you know what? We're gonna get off the go right away. We're gonna hit the track running. We're gonna talk a little bit about your amateur background before we get into the pros.
Okay.
Okay. So we want to know first who came up with Dinamita.
Dinamita, pues yo mero, it was me. It was me. I'm the kind of the one, because Juan Manuel Marquez is my favorite boxer, out of all time. So he's how he came up, the hard road up. So and he's my favorite boxer. And he's one of the best counter punchers I think in boxing history, Mexican boxing history. So that's the reason why I came up with him.
He's good.
He's good.
He's
One
good.
of the
He's
best. One of the best.
definitely one of the best. One of my favorite fighters for sure. You can go down the list of pound for pounds, and you go down the list of all these fighters. But when he fought, it was exciting to watch him fight. His suits, his robes, Mexican, totally to the bone.
Yeah.
And so I love all of that. I mean, I love from the ring entrances to the end. And you get out of the ring and everybody coming and taking pictures with you and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So all right, so when did you start boxing? How old were you when you started boxing?
So I actually started kickboxing first.
Kickboxing.
I was getting in trouble in the streets. I went to juvenile detention center after juvie. I got off on probation, and my PO asked me hey.
You were a little troublemaker in growing
I
up.
was it. Yeah. So she asked me, she's like, "What do you like to do?" And I said, "I like to punch people in the face." So she kind of gave me a weird look, and she's like, "What do you mean, punching people in the face?" I like to fight. And then they actually help you out, during all those times. She's like, so if I get you in a mixed martial arts program, or if I get you in a boxing program, karate, whatever, will you attend to it? And I said, every day of my life till I can't do it anymore. And ever since, that changed my life. So I started kickboxing first. After kickboxing, there was a coach that came just for boxing. So I was planning to do MMA first. So I was planning to do
How old were you at this time?
I was 15, 16 years old, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So for a year, I did kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. I did all those things. So I was for me, I wanted to that's what I was introduced to. So I was trying to do mixed martial arts, you know what I mean? But I didn't have the age. So throughout that time, a boxing coach came into my into the gym, and we just started boxing. And he told me you could fight amateur just being this young. I said, "Oh really?" He's and I just started.
Now this gym where was this at? Was it in Colorado?
Yeah, here in Colorado. It was called the ATT. Bobby Lashley, he was the main the owner of the gym, the one that associated with.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he's the one that pretty much opened the doors for the boxing world too.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were about 15 years old. So when did you make the move? Because you're originally from, where are you originally from?
So de Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico.
Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Juaritos.
Juaritos de allá.
Es todo, carnal. Yo soy de Chuco, for the people that don't know out there, I'm from El Paso. So that's back, somos allá de los mismos terrenos. Oye, and so did you moved over here at a young age?
Yeah, tenía 8 años. I was 8 years old when I moved here to the Houston.
So a los 8 años ya andabas de vago.
Pues sí, el vago, pues yéndome de pinta y pues ahí, como quien dice, desmadrosa ahí en la calle.
Así nos pasa. So then 15 years old, you started boxing, and were you still kind of one foot in boxing and one foot out and into MMA, or when did you say, you know what, I'm just gonna go boxing?
Yeah, so I was actually fighting kickboxing as an amateur, which I went 9-0 as an amateur kickboxing.
Oh, good, nice.
Yeah. So and then after that gym, I left. We left that gym. Me, it was a few of Hannah Cherlove, Alexis, Milton. We all left that gym, and we decided to go to A1 Boxing, and we trained there with Hector. So after we trained with Hector.
So that's where you guys met Hector?
That's where I met Hector, and I started fighting a lot more. And I was just focusing just on
You mentioned Milton. Milton, for a lot of people that are getting into the boxing,
Yeah.
he's an up and coming boxer too.
Yeah, he's like my brother. So we've been riding together since.
You guys been married for a long time.
Long time. So loyalty is definitely there. You know, Milton's like literally my brother from another mother.
And so we're talking about Milton Roque,
Yeah,
right? And is he a pro fighter now?
Yeah, he's a pro fighter. I think he has 2 fights. I think he's 1-1.
There you go. So shout out to Milton Roque.
Milton, that's my brother.
We'll bring him on the show. We'll bring him on the show.
Yeah, you guys have to bring him on the show.
We'll introduce him and get a little bit of low down, dirty stories from you guys, man. So before the end of the show, you're gonna have to tell us a little secret about him. So when we bring him on, we won't let him know.
I got you.
So you started with so you guys are friends since you guys were fighting kickboxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you go to A1. A1, how old were you then?
I was, I believe, 16, 17.
Okay, so about a year into
Yeah,
boxing.
a year and a half. I was like a year into boxing. Not even a year, you know. It was just months. It was just more of a because I fought at American Top Team. I fought amateur because there was a boxing coach that was registered with the USA Boxing and all.
Yeah.
So he just told us, hey, start fighting. So we just started fighting. I did like 5 or 6 fights with that
coach.
With that coach, I don't remember his name. His name was Adam, I think. I don't know his last name, but. And then we went to A1 Boxing.
And that's what you.
I met Hector there. We met Hector, so we all moved as a team there. And then I did most of my amateur career with him. All of my amateur career with him, and then I did my pro career with him too. But I just decided to leave and move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, and so we know Hector. You know, Hector was a pro fighter. You know, he was a respected pro fighter himself. And he opened up his own team, right? He opened up his own team.
He opened up his own gym, and So I started like we did 8 fights together. You know what I mean? And he opened up his gym, and yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, everybody, all of us, you know, that are in the boxing as deep as we are, you know, I'm a fan. When I first started seeing you box, you know, I couldn't wait to see you box pro. Because you had the pro style.
Yeah.
You know, you had the pro style. And I think a lot of that attributes to Hector's fighters all have that pro style.
Yeah,
you know, they don't have that much so much of the amateurs score. But you know, we're very familiar with Hector's size and his teams. So we're used to seeing you. We used to see you fight in Sparta Combat League shows.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about fighting on those cards.
So we got a what was it? I think it was a 7-fight contract with them.
Oh, okay.
So and it was cool, you know, like they're the ones that first like signed me. They actually, the way they signed me was funny because they signed me spar. I was sparring Manny Perez.
Manny Perez, oh yeah.
I was sparring Manny Perez, and like
good fighter.
that guy Jeff was there, and when he was there, he's like, hey, he came down and talked to me. He's like, hey, I would like for you to come to the shows, and I really like you, and you know, we started just having a little relationship, and then he ended up signing me.
That's cool.
7-5 deal, and it was good because they kept me busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so Jeff's a good guy, man, and he's got, you know, he really blew up on the scene on the boxing side over the last couple of years. He was always in the MMA, and then he really jumped in on the boxing side, and they're doing great on the boxing. You know, it's always good to have promoters.
They're doing really good, and then and I think they're now co-promoting with what's his name, Steve Mestis.
Yep. Shout out to Steve Mestis, good friend of ours, good friend of mine.
Sure.
I've known Steve for years, man, and I do a lot of work with him, so I know them guys really well. And so you did your 7-fight contract. That's going into the pros. So touch back with the amateurs a little bit. So you were fighting amateurs. Hector's taking you to fight, and you're competing, and you're doing all this and that. How many amateur fights did you have on your record?
I ended up doing, I think, 44. I think so. I was like 39-5, I believe.
Okay. And so you went and traveled ringside.
No, the only thing we did, we never really traveled. The only thing we did was his ringside world championship, which was just once a year. The rest was this year locally, truly, or maybe sometimes guys that came like that.
Yeah, from kind of out of town.
Yeah,
in the tournaments or shows or whatever. So you fought. Did you fight Golden Gloves?
Yes, I fought Golden Gloves only once, I think. When I was novice, because they didn't let me fight because of my...
The whole non-citizenship.
Yeah, I wasn't born here in the United States.
Yeah. And so that's the bad thing about this, that's something that I've always had an issue with, that, you got non-citizens that are here fighting, and they're not allowed to progress and move forward and represent the state that they're boxing out of.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure, like a lot of my boxers gotten frustrated with that. I'm sure that's probably something that frustrated you.
Well, yeah, of course, because I've always had that dream to like go, like go do the Golden Gloves and like the regionals and the
And
nationals.
yeah, that's what everybody wants to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, of course, and the fact that they never wanted me to, like, you know what I mean, to, or give me just the opportunity, because I think I would have been a great representative for the state of Colorado. It is what it is, like they say, like God chooses the strongest soldiers for like the hardest battles. So if I had to take the road up and just struggle a little bit more, then that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
So I accepted it, and it is what it is, but now like my record shows, now
Yeah.
I'm 9-0 as a professional. I'm still rising, and I'm still getting better, and I'm still learning. Now I have like a new team. I have people that really they're there for me. They're there for my best interest.
Yep.
And I'm there with them, and we have this, so I'm just happy and I'm just thankful.
That's good. That's good. Now, as far as now they're going into the pros. Do you have sponsors that are helping you out? Taquerias or anybody?
Yeah. So I have two, which is one of my compadres. He has a taqueria de birria, birria los chingones se llama. So
Okay.
So birria chingones, and then I have
Birria Chingones.
birria los chingones.
Birria Los Chingones. That's so
Yeah,
shout out.
yeah, for real. They're like the best tacos de birria that there's.
Yeah. Where are they located at? Do you know where they're located at?
No, you have to go online because they post in different spots.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. And then I also got another sponsorship, which is my barber. So it's called Most Wanted Barbershop too. It's on Colfax and Sable around.
Okay.
They've been helping me out.
I need to go in there and get faded out. So if I go in there and I tell them that, hey, I'm Jose Arellano's boss.
Hey, go over there, make your appointment, man. Make your appointment. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, because I need to go get faded out,
Make
man.
your appointment, yeah.
That's cool.
Then I also have Marta la Terapista. She's the one that does my massages and my therapy and all those stuff.
Oh, yeah, all the therapeutic
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of the
Those
sports
are
therapy.
those are the only really sponsors that I have. You know what I mean?
That's cool. That's cool, man. That's and well, there's gonna be more.
So
There's
we'll see.
We need to get fresh ride. We need to get a fresh ride. We need a sponsor for that. So there's still a lot to come.
I know. So right now, we're just going with the flow, working hard, and doing what we're supposed to do.
No, that's good, man. So that's really good, and it's refreshing to hear back about your amateur background. That you had a good stint, good run on it. And as far as the amateurs, did you think you fought the toughest that you can fight and get you ready to go before you make that jump into the pros?
Yes, actually, on ringside, I fought my first year. I fought Genaro Gomez. And it was when they had the clicker still, the point system. So he beat me. He beat me for points, but it was a really, really good fight. Then the second year I fought Luis Feliciano. He's also signed. He was number one in the nation. I actually believe I beat him, but he was ranked number one. So they were.
That happens a lot.
Then my third year, I fought Raheem Gonzalez in the semifinals, I think, and he beat me. It was a really close fight, but he got it. Then the last year before I turned pro, that's when I won ringside
Good. Well, and as far as sparring in the amateurs, were you already sparring thinking, okay, I'm gonna go pro pretty soon. I gotta change my approach on what I'm doing as far as an amateur to jump into the pros. Did you know that the big difference that was gonna come?
Well, yeah, because I knew that it was 8-ounce gloves and they're leather gloves with a horsehair in them, so even the jab hurts. That's the first thing that I've noticed when I went to the pros. But there was nothing really much. It's just work hard. The dream was always there, so those are things that I never really thought about. Now, if I think about it now, then it'll be like, oh, well, maybe, but.
Good. Well, that was a little bit of his amateur background. We're gonna take a little bit of a break, but when we come back, we're gonna start talking about the meat and potatoes of the soup. We're gonna be talking about the pro career. This is what everybody wants to hear. We'll be right back after these messages. host for Inside Boxing TV's Throwdown. And today in studio, we have Jose Arellano, and we're going to start talking a little bit more about his professional boxing side. We touched a little bit on your amateur side. And we, your upbringing, how you got into it, kickboxing, and, your little run-ins in the streets. And
You get in trouble, for sure.
But, so yeah, you went and turned, what was the deciding factor that you said, it's about time I turn pro?
Well, if it would have been for me, I would have stayed in the amateurs and done if I would have been able to advance, do nationals, internationals, all those stuff. But the fact that I was wasting time, my age, so it was more of I have a time limit, you know what I mean? Which is 22, I'm gonna turn pro if there's nothing done about the amateur. If I can do pretty much anything else,
And that was the back then. They didn't change the rules.
Yeah, they didn't change the rules.
Nothing.
I tried, I even gave it my social that I was able to fight within the United States to be able to represent. They said no. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna give it a last year in the Ringside World Championship, see if we win it. And we went ready. We won Ringside World Championships, and after that, everything came out perfect, just like we planned.
Good.
We're gonna go win Ringside, that last amateur tournament that we always do, and then we're gonna turn pro, and then.
Good, jump the pro. So who was your first pro debut?
His name was, I think, Isaac Johnson, I believe.
Yeah. Isaac Johnson. He's tough.
He's tough. He came to fight, and he was talking a little bit of smack on mine and stuff. So it was oh, it's cool, So, but we were ready, He had a lot of experience too, so we were ready, and we got the job done, and actually, that was the first time that I also got cut, on my eyebrow, and I've never got cut again,
Yeah.
But he cut me he headbutted me, I think, and he cut my eyebrow.
And was that the first time you got cut? Did that affect you?
No. Honestly, I didn't even know. Till I saw one of my drops falling too, because we were clinched up. So I saw one of his a blood drop in his shoulder. And, oh, that's mine. And then they're, oh, you're cut. And then, but oh, it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
It kind of motivated me because I saw blood on home. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the first fights that you had with the contract with Sparta Combat?
Yeah, that was the first fight. And they kept me busy for the first year and a half, I think.
Yeah.
It was the first year was fights back to back.
So you had 7 fights right away with them?
Yeah, with them I had it was by the end of the year, because my pro debut was on February 24th, I believe.
Yeah.
And by the other year I already had by the year after I already had 6 fights, I believe.
Yeah.
5 or 6 fights. So we did 5 fights within 1 year.
Yeah. And so during this time, this was this was all the time that you were with Hector and bringing back boxing. But then there was a big move, and this is what everybody's always asking about.
Oh, really?
Because
I didn't even know this was news, So.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't want to pry, but everybody wonders.
Yeah. What happened?
What happened? Now. You're with Hit Squad now.
Yeah, I'm with
Danny
Garcia,
and then shout out to the Hit Squad, Danny Garcia, good friend of ours.
Sean Madrigal too.
Sean Madrigal, we know them well. Good strong team, good strong coming team in Colorado.
They saved my career.
Okay, so when you say they saved your career, tell us, what do you mean by they saved your career?
So what I mean by they saved my career, I was already inactive for a year. You know what I mean? So I was being managed.
This was before the COVID slowdown?
This was already before the COVID. This was before already
After your contract expired with
Sparta after it expired, I fought once on February, I think February 8th of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my last fight. And then, I was training, but basically was just training myself, for that, after that fight, I was just literally just training myself.
You show up to the gym, do your homework.
There was no more motivation, there was no more fighting, there was just no fights, and I also, Hector was managing me, so, the main job of a manager is to get you fights.
Keep you busy.
And I wasn't getting anything.
Now, you think it was there was just nobody that wanted to fight you in the state, or was Hector just too busy with the team?
Maybe
because sometimes
Maybe he was just too busy with his business, his gym, you know what I mean, doing what he had to do, making his money, you know. But
Yeah.
I have to look out for myself at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and you know, and it's it's one of those things that happens in careers. You know, obviously, you make your decisions on what's best for your career. You've got a certain amount of window.
Well, yeah, it's not just the window. It's just the fact that it's the team that you make around you. You know, the people that you have around, the people that are. How much are they willing to do for you, and how much are you also willing to give of yourself?
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things with a hit squad. You know, it's like the team.
So how did you get hooked up with hit squad? What was the deciding factor? I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there.
Oh yeah, you know the deciding factor. It came when Jumba came to help me out for, I think it was my sixth fight. I think sixth or seventh fight. He came. They needed sparring too because they were getting ready for the trials, I believe. Jumba and Sean, and then I was getting ready for kind of a fight, or I just finished the fight, so we sparred. And what's his name? Jumba, little Daniel Garcia. He put a little bit of hands on me that day, and I was like, wow, like this guy is like he's really strong, skill wise, like damn. And I always. I kept telling Hector and like, hey, like bring him in, but there was never nothing like.
Never was able to get him, whatever the case.
Yeah, whatever the case was, it doesn't matter no more. You know what I mean? But after that, I kept looking that they're like the way they are, like you know what I mean? Like
but you needed that type of work. You needed sparring. I mean, at your level.
Yeah, exactly.
As a crime, you need.
And not even that, he was still an amateur. You know what I mean? Like with probably like plus 100 fights, but they have so much experience. And you know they've always traveled. They always you know took him out of state, out of everywhere. You know, and that's the kind of thing. Those are the things I needed. You know, and it was the interest for my career. So when I went over there, I told him, I said, hey, I need somebody to adopt me. If you guys are okay with it, I asked him like if there's no room here in your gym, like I totally understand. But although I would still like to come spar, and they're like we'll have to sit down and talk with my team, and they sat down and talked and. They brought me in Milton, you know, and it was the best decision I could have ever made.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because after being so inactive, plus training myself, right? Now you got somebody that's there and their interest, they're teaching you how like new skills, new boxing. And even till now, I'm learning every day.
Good. And so how long have you been with Hit Squad?
Since the beginning of the year, after my birthday, I think after February 14th, I probably like the beginnings of March.
Okay, so just about 7 months.
Yeah,
around there.
Within 2 weeks, they actually got me a fight. But then the COVID thing happened, so he canceled it. You know.
Yeah.
So we were already training. We were supposed to do like it was boom like this.
Good.
You want to fight with us, or what do you want to do? They asked. I said, yeah, of course. Like this is the whole. I want to be a world champion. They're like, all right, cool. And within 2 weeks, boom, they had me a fight like that.
Nice.
And that kind of like, whoa. I'm like, what? You know.
And was that a local fight or was that?
No, it was gonna be a local fight. Actually, it was gonna be in Colorado Springs, I believe.
Okay, did you have an opponent for that?
Yeah, his name was I think Rashid or something. I don't know who he is. I think he fought Alex, one of my ex training partners.
What weight was that?
It was gonna be at 140.
Okay, was that Abdullah Rashid? Okay, so yeah, I know him very well. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I know him very well.
I think we're gonna do a 6 rounder or a 4 rounder.
But it's lucky for him. That fight never happened.
Why?
No, you know what? He actually fought one of my guys.
He's really slick. Like
he's slick.
People think like he's not as good as he is, but he's really.
Well,
really
his dad was USA boxing.
Yeah, he's really slick. Like he just has like a weird kind of boring style, you know, which people think, oh well, you suck, but like me as a boxer, as a fighter, like I know, like. No, this guy, he's like, I gotta be careful because you get caught with something. Yeah. He was like a pretty big guy, like he's that kind of guy that bulks up. He actually fought one of my guys years ago, but so I got a little thorn on my side. No, I'm just kidding, just hugging the side. No, but so then the fight never happened, and then you kept training. I kept training, and you know it was different because they even took me out of state for sparring.
Good.
You know, and they're teaching me so much that now I'm like, wow, like for that whole year, for me, it was more like I wasted a year of career.
Or maybe it was look at it as a refresher. You know,
No,
you took
but-
a little bit of refreshing time, and now you're hitting it hard.
Yeah, no, it's not like a waste of my career, but I'm glad it happened to me today. Like now that I'm young, and
In
now
the
like,
beginning
and I looked at like Cotto, how he found Freddie Roach towards the end of his career, and he's like I'm glad it happened now, but still, like say if I would have had the right management behind me, I probably would have been like 15, 16, 17 and all right now.
Yeah.
In the whole year, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so now, you said Milton came along and he joined the team too.
Yeah, he joined the team too, and we've been training there for a few months, and it's different, it's hard, it's besides anything, it's just the way they teach, their humbleness, their belief in you, and
they're good
the
people, man.
bond.
They're good people.
Honestly, like that's what people don't know. Like they're really, really good people.
Well, you know, if you know boxing, you know Colorado boxing, you know they have a good bond. I mean, we all know them, and it's a good team, good strong guys. They got De La Rosa over there. You know, they got. I mean, they got a lot of guys out there. There's a whole list of guys, and to add you guys to that stable really adds to that whole stable. You know.
Yeah, of course, but it's more like I'm able to learn from even like Sean or Jumba that they have like less experience than me, and I'm like, wow, like you know, and I'm like, well, this is kind of.
But they have a lot of amateur background, and they fought the best of the best.
Yeah, and that's something I don't have. So you see, it's like a give and take. Plus, like Sean, he's really attentive. Also, Daniel, they're really attentive, taking care of the fighters, always teaching us new stuff.
Definitely, they're really good.
And it's one of the things that, like I said, now that I see, I'm like, wow, this is what I needed.
Awesome.
You know, and so it's just like a blessing for me. I'm just thankful because this is my life. Like,
so now you had this fight that just came back, you know, so after COVID and all of that, now you came back, your first fight after what, 18 months?
Next 18 months, a year and a half.
So, okay, your first fight back, but you're fighting in Mexico.
So I went to Mexico, I fought on the Roy Jones Jr. undercard.
Okay.
In his heart.
What part of Mexico did you go to?
San Carlos, Sonora. It's a really beautiful place.
You ever been there before?
No, it was actually my first time back in Mexico since I came as a kid.
There you go, man.
So it was everything just like, it was just meant to be like a certain way.
Yeah.
Everything came like in perfect timing. And the way everything was, it was even my first time on a plane, to tell the truth.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like everything was is like a blessing, you know.
Exciting, man.
Yeah, it's exciting. More than anything, it's like the belief that my team had in me too. Because we had to go out. I had to go over there alone. But they believed in me so much that they said, you'll be good out there.
Yeah. No, and I actually, you know, I saw their live broadcast, you know, when they.
Oh yeah, when they went live.
When they went live, so you know, they were definitely proud of you, and it was good to see that, you know, you had that full support.
Yeah, it was like first televised fight. It was my first time in Mexico. You know, it was
man.
Everything. You know, one of the biggest things that people don't know is like. For me, I've always had a dream of Lupe Contreras like announcing me. So when I arrived to the hotel, the second night, I met Jose Luis Castillo. After I met Jose Luis Castillo, then I think the second night Lupe Contreras came in.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's Lupe Contreras, and then I said hi to him like oh, like you know, how are you? And then he's like. He said, we have a meeting. He said, you're fighting on the card, right? I said, yeah. He's like, we have a meeting on Thursday. But when he announced me, that was one of my favorite parts. You know, these are things that you see and like you dream.
Yeah,
of,
definitely. You know? That's all part of the dream, man.
Yes,
it's all part of the journey.
And now with with the people that I have behind me, Sean, Daniel, you know what I mean, and me right now kind of managing myself, you know what I mean, and a little bit of the knowledge that I have now, what I've learned. It was just literally, I'm just thankful. It was just, you know, I'm thankful, I'm blessed, you know, and I'm happy, you know, I'm a happy fighter now.
Yeah,
and
content because you're getting your attention.
The reason, no, it's not even about attention, it's more like I'm a happy fighter instead of being a worried fighter. About like, oh, what am I going to do, this and that, or do I have the right people, do I not, you know what I mean, all these things. So the belief that they had in me was like, wow, it's something that I've never seen, you know what I mean?
It's the first time you feel that.
Yeah, I feel that, and they're like, Jose, you'll be good out there. They're like, we're gonna go through a specific game plan because he's a southpaw. We have Sean Madugan, 10-time national champion, one of the best southpaw.
Definitely.
What better work?
What better work you
you know? So
he's undefeated as a pro.
Yeah, he's 6-5 or 6-0, I think. 5-0, 6-0. So he's actually the main sparring and the guy that really got me ready for the fight. And it was like,
So was this opponent? Now this wasn't a walk in the park. This opponent, seasoned guy. You know, he's
yeah,
It's a good test. It's a good test to where you're at.
Yeah, it's a good test where I was at, but I was so inactive a year and a half. So nobody knew, like, I believed in
If
my
there was
skills.
gonna be rust.
Like, yeah, like rust, if there was gonna be an effect. He came heavy, I believe. Like the day of weigh-ins, they announced because he was a catch weight of 138. They announced the catch weight, and I was like, okay. And then the day of the fight, I looked at the screen, you know, because they had the screen, and he said he was 141 point something, 0.7, I believe.
Bro, they're sneaky like that, man.
And then I came in at 137, but I'm a professional, so like
Yeah.
for me, it's like I make the weight, and honestly, I was so focused on the fight that I didn't care about anything else but to get in there. Nothing felt real till I was up in the ring. Then everything felt real, and I'm like, all right, now
Okay,
we're going,
so
let's go. And they're like, hey, they're like, he's kind of, they called him, they called us, they're like, he's kind of heavy. I said, I don't care, I want to fight.
Let's do it.
And then let's do it, and we did it, you know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So, out of your 9 fights as a pro, which has been your toughest?
My fourth fight.
Your fourth fight?
Yeah, that was Rubentes, a guy from Mexico. He dropped me in the first round. And the reason why he dropped me, because I went in that fight with a broken hand.
Uh-huh.
So, and I couldn't even warm up in the locker room. So he caught me cold in the first round, and I had to dig deep, but he was my toughest fight because he won the whole series wrestling, and it was a give and take.
Yeah.
But I managed to get up and outbox him and outclass him, but I also outdogged him. You know what I mean? So that was that till this day is my hardest fight.
The hardest fight they.
Yeah, of course. You know, the guys in Mexico, I saw so many things over there. The guys in Mexico could crack. Them guys hit. People think like he don't have no skills, but if these guys touch you, it's either 9-9 or you're gonna get hurt.
You're gonna feel it.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna feel it.
Yeah, this opponent was really tough actually. He was tough, like he could take a punch. I outworked him though. I did everything like perfect. We made a few mistakes that I talked with my team over here back home, and but everything was great, you know.
Yeah.
I was just so excited to fight that was just, for me, it was just getting my career back in track.
So now, do you have another fight already that you're kind of looking at, and that we want to kind of start letting people know?
No, well, we're working on a lot of things, and we have a lot of things coming up, of course, but till everything's said and settled, just like this fight was, because even for this fight, I never announced anything till probably a week before.
So many things change, man.
Yeah, and especially with all the COVID things coming in and all this stuff. So for me, we do have a few things. I have a plan with Sean and Danny, with the team, but we want to wait till everything's settled, everything's, so we know it's a for sure thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, but we'll see. We'll have you soon.
Okay.
Soon.
That way, we gotta break out the news, man, and let them know, especially if it's a local fight. That way we can get the whole team behind it.
Yeah, I know.
Get everybody riled up.
Uh-huh.
Now, as far as your entrance musics.
Oh, my entrance music. I always. It just depends on the mood, the feeling.
You ever gonna come out to me some mariachis?
Yes.
Bring some live mariachis.
Maybe in the future when we have that, when we're able to afford to pay them, because they're kind of expensive. But
no, man, but that's all possible.
Yeah, no, it's possible. It will happen. So there's I already in my mind, and I have plans of how I'm gonna come out to every fight with what music, what song. So that's just the mystery that I have, but things that I already have planned. But it just depends the day, the fight, how important the fight is. Everything's already planned out to be a certain way. So we're just waiting for the moments to come, and then.
So when you pick your entrance music, that's all part of driving you for that fight.
Yeah, well, actually, it comes back from the plan of what it means for that. What's the meaning for that fight? Because there's always a meaning behind the fight.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something we can explain now, like after the break, if you want.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. So I'll tell you what. So we're gonna take another little break. We'll be right back to touch base and a little bit on what goes through the mind process of Jose Arellano and what gets him ready for his fights. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to IBTV's Throwdown, and I'm Raul Tejada, your host. And today in studio for this segment, part 3, we have Jose Arellano, and we've talked a little bit about his amateur background. We talked a little bit about his professional career and how he's rejuvenated and jump-started his career. Now that he's with a new team, new per se management behind him, people kind of helping him guide his career and teaching him some newer things, some better things. And he's in a happy place, good place, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
So that's what matters now. You know, now that we've touched base on where you're at, and you know, a little bit on the people that have backed you and your team.
Yes.
Where does Jose Arellano see himself in 2 years?
2 years. Being a high contender in the boxing world, and if not, fighting for a world championship.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that.
Yes. I believe it too.
I believe it too. Now, and the reason I say that now is because we're making it, and we're officially putting a stamp that's the path.
Yes, that's the path.
That us fans of Dinamita Arellano can follow, because you know, we want to be able to, you know, follow your career. It's been exciting up to now. Your fighting style, what do you classify your fighting style as?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm an all-around fighter. I can fight in the inside. I can fight in the outside. There's a lot of things that I haven't showed because I feel like it's not yet time for it.
Okay.
You know, that those are the things that will come out when I'm fighting better fighters, when I'm fighting more high caliber fighters.
The fighters now haven't really pulled out.
No, I don't think they haven't. Even for this last fight, there was a few things that I did that I haven't never done in my past. And the reason why is because I don't feel like it was time because of the caliber of the opponent.
Okay.
You know, you have to like keep yourself reserved to a certain point. You know, but when you get to the high level, then that's when
all the cards are on the table.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you consider yourself a power puncher, more of a boxer?
About a boxer, counter puncher.
Counter puncher. Okay. All right. So now, as far as your trainings, tell us a little bit about what, you know, a little bit of preparation without giving, of course, all the secrets. But a little bit about your preparations and, you know, when you get ready for fights.
Yes.
Is there some kind of little tricks that you do that, you know, that people don't know about, you know what I mean? And, you know, that helps motivate you, you know?
Oh, well, yeah, I have an athletic trainer. So he's the one that does my strength and conditioning.
Okay, what's his,
his name is Phil Roybal.
Okay,
Yeah,
Philip Roybal.
Yeah, I've been working with him for probably about a year now. And I worked with him on the low for like a year till now. Like, you know, he's actually the guy that trains like the hit squad team.
Okay.
So Sean, Jumba, Milton, we're all in it with him. Like he's like he's for me, he has like brought my conditioning like to a different level. And there's a few other things, you know, that we all do outside, but
yeah,
that's for people to never know, so we can have a match on it. You know?
So what weight do you fight at? You fight at 135?
135, which is lightweight.
Okay.
Yes.
What weight do you walk around at?
Probably like You know, ever since I started training with his squad, I probably walk around like 145, 147.
145, 147.
Without a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Like for this like camp, it was a 3 week notice fight. And once I checked my weight, I was like 146, I think.
So you had the fight was a catch weight at one.
Yeah, 137. So I was already there, and all I had to do was just change my diet, change my meals, and then boom. I was actually walking around 140 a week before the fight.
Okay, so if we bring on a scale right now, you're not gonna be over your 15-pound limit.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, maybe now. I've been actually training for. Today was my first day back. Like I went to Mother Cabrini to run with the team. So
okay, all right.
So I'm probably a little bit heavier. I'm probably like at 148, 149 maybe.
Okay. Now family support. Your parents.
Yeah, my parents. I have 2 sisters and I have a big brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's always the sisters and the moms are always the hardest to accept. Seeing their pobrecito mijito up there and le están pegando.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because my mom's not like that. So my mom, she's like a really strong.
Is she from Juarez?
No, she's from Durango.
From Durango. Oh, no, pues that's why.
Yeah,
she's that's from, why. Tiene chingazos, digo.
So she's from Durango. My dad's from Zacatecas, and they met in Chihuahua, in Ciudad Juarez, and they had all my brothers there.
Okay, that's cool, man.
You know, so my mom's really strong. She's a really strong person. Like I know deep down inside it's killing her, but like she just like she sits like this at my fight. She sits like this. And she's like with a serious face. Like there's no reaction to her. Like, she's really strong, you know what I mean? But I know probably deep down inside, like she's hurting.
Yeah. And your dad is gritón?
Yeah, my dad's the one that screams and that. Like, it's funny because like when when there was a crowd back then, like when people will scream, I never hear anything but my corner or my father.
Or your dad.
Yeah. It's just crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And there's people that scream even louder, you know.
That's the way you tune into certain things.
Yeah.
And your dad's gonna be obviously.
Yeah, and it was just like the one that stands out, like the voice, and I can hear him scream.
So what does he scream at you?
No, well, he's just like there's things that he'll be like, you got him, he's almost done. Like you're gonna knock him out, just like keep working the body, like hear him.
Okay.
You know? It's little specific things.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So it's funny, but yeah.
My dad would be screaming, "Échale chingazos, cabrón!"
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
And so, do they go to all your fights? Can they watch you fight live? Sometimes, parents
so they got to all my fights. I think the only I think they've missed like 2 or 3. Even in my amateurs, they'll always try to go.
So all your family lives here in Colorado?
Yeah, my brothers and sisters, my mom, my dad, I have a few cousins, aunties, and uncles.
Well, that's good, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really good. I bet you that's part of the fan base that goes to the fights now. As far as your favorite boxers, who's your favorite boxer? Other than what you told us?
Yeah, like who my favorite is. As of right now, Vasily Lomachenko and also Miguel Cotto.
Yeah, Cotto was.
Miguel Cotto. The reason why is because if boxing was music, he'll be like opera. Like he fights so beautiful with so much class. Like
the technique.
I believe that the way he fights, he's so elegant.
Yeah.
Like when he fights, so he's one of my favorite technical fighters. Why is him? Vasily Lomachenko, because he's just unique,
Yeah.
The way he does things and all.
Now, obviously, so Lomachenko is one of your favorite fighters.
Yeah.
He finally signed the fight between Lomachenko and Teofimo.
Lopez, yeah.
So, what's your take? What do you see happening there? Try to not be biased. Since
No, like being fair, I think Lomachenko has a chance within the first 5 rounds. And if he catches him, he has to catch him. Which he has the speed, the power, and the technicality to do that. Because Lopez is really, really good, and he's mean. Like he's like a Duran. Like he wants to hurt you. He has bad intention. But
there's too many questions still, I think.
Yes.
That we haven't.
But I think Lomachenko has the experience and the mindset. He's just way different. He's like on another level. Plus, besides the amateur experience, they having the same amount of fights. That's what I mean. Plus, I think he's fought better opposition, and I think he's not like.
Agree.
Like people say, well, he's old, but he's not like he's like an old washed out fighter. He's an old great fighter. Look at Pacquiao, what he's doing, what he did to Thurman.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think Lomachenko is one of those fighters.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lomachenko. In this fight, the way I see it is, there are so many unanswered things about Lopez. He hasn't fought the caliber of fighters that in the pro circuits, of course. So it's hard to really say what tools he's got that Lomachenko hasn't seen already.
Yeah. Especially he coming from an amateur, two-time Olympian.
Yeah, I mean, he's seen everything.
Yeah.
He's seen everything, and I think he's been tested in every aspect that Lopez hasn't.
Yeah.
He's been dropped. He's came back from that against a good, tough opposition when he fought Linares.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be. This is gonna show answer a lot of questions about Teofimo. Obviously, we know what we know of him is that he's strong, aggressive fighter, but we know more of Lomachenko, and just because of his experience, and I think his experience alone is gonna carry this fight. I think that's where that goes now.
I got Lomachenko stopping him in the 10 or 11.
10 or 11. Do you think he'll stop on 10 or 11?
He's gonna stop him.
I got Lomachenko decision. Going to decision. Now, there's another fight that is interesting, and I'm not sure if it's completely signed or not, but I know that talks were of Tank fighting Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Now that's I've always been a Santa Cruz fan. But what's your take on that fight?
That was, it's crazy because it's almost the same thing with Tank and Leo, because Leo's a really pressure fighter. He's a volume puncher and he pressures. He throws like 1,000 punches a fight. And but then you got Tank that has the power. So it's like, and Tank can crack.
Yeah, he can crack.
And he's gonna be at 130, but is he gonna make the weight? Is he not? Like we all have those questions.
Yeah.
But I think if he goes to distance, Leo beats him. But if he gets caught, and I think he punches too hard. Like Tank punches hard. I don't know. Like that was a hard to pick. So,
I think in this fight, I think Leo's a little too small for him. I think his style is going to open himself up to getting caught. Tank is a big puncher. He's a big puncher, and he's going to play right into his style. He's not. Leo's not going to box him from the outside. He's going to go in there, and they're both going to bang. Yeah. And I have Tank knocking Leo out probably in the 8th round.
You think?
Yeah, I said 6 to 8 rounds.
Depends. I don't know. I think I got Leo.
I'd like for Leo to win.
Yeah, but if he gets caught, but who knows?
Now, as far as local fighters, who is a local fighter that you look up to that you can say that is your favorite local fighter?
Probably Sean and Jumba.
They're
Yeah, my stablemate. They're really. I've learned so much from them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm that kind of guy. Like I always open up to want to learn more. You learn even from the people you don't think you were gonna learn from.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So, and I'm always like open-minded about things like that. So I said right now, because the way they fight, I've been able to spend time with them, and it's like damn, these guys are special.
Yeah, they bring it.
Yeah,
they bring it. Them. And now, obviously, we heard a little bit that Sean. Of course, you can sign with Danny Garcia and Jumba. Jumba's going probably around the same route there.
The same route.
And that's good. That's
that's
good.
Great. That's honestly, that's just like what better. What better?
Yeah.
Like, you got Sean fighting on the Deontay Wilder undercards and the PBC fights. Like, hey, that's great. That's the best exposure.
So as far as your stablemates and your sparring, all right, which one do you hate sparring the most?
I think not just me. We all hate sparring De La Rosa.
De La Rosa can crack.
De La Rosa's good, man.
And he doesn't take it easy.
Nobody likes to spar. Trust me, nobody likes to spar.
He doesn't take it easy on anybody. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like De La Rosa. Humble man.
He's from Juárez too.
Y es trabajador.
Es bien trabajador, trabaja en la construcción, así como yo, así como nosotros, somos personas normales, ¿no?
Y ahora tú trabajas en la construcción, so what do you do? So you box, but you have a day job.
Yeah, like I have like a full-time job. Well, sometimes I get off early, but I do concrete. Concrete work.
Well, what better work to help you stay in shape?
I know, kind of stay in shape, stay strong. It's
Right.
funny, but that gets you it gets you strong.
Well,
you know?
yeah, it does, man.
It gets you strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good job, you know. It's a good paying job. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't complain, you know.
Yeah, hey, well, that's what pays the bills, you know. While you continue this journey
Yeah.
early in your career, but you know there'll come a time where you're gonna look back at this, and these are the hopes that you have as future world champion. That you look back at these, and those are things that prepared you
Yeah.
for your career.
Yeah. It's just like the process of getting there, you know, and just enjoying the moments, enjoying everything.
Good.
You know?
So De La Rosa is probably the one that everybody hates sparring the most because he can crack. And I know he can crack.
He's like a crack, man. He's a good fighter. It's funny. It's funny because when he comes in the gym, we're like, man, Dela's here. God damn it.
Yeah.
But, hey, we all got to spar. We did that work. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as like Junebugs and Sean and them, how do you feel now that you're part of their stablemates? You know, usually you see a team from the outside in.
Yeah.
Now you're on the inside. Obviously, you see a totally different animal now.
Yeah, they're legit. They're the best of the best.
That's good. You know, they've been climbing for a while now. You know, they got a strong stable. You know, I've had my guys spar with them. You know, it's like they say, you know, you want to beat the best and you got to train with the best.
It's like I said, for me, it's just a blessing, and I'm just thankful that I was able to be a part of them. And honestly, for me, I'm thankful, and it's just a blessing. It's an honor to just be there with them. You know?
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you know, Jose, we're coming to a close here. I hope that you know you keep in touch with us. Let us know when your next fight's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, we look forward to having Milton on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, announcing your next fight when you got it coming up. And let me know. I'll buy the first set of tickets.
Yeah, for sure.
And, but it's been a pleasure getting to know Jose Arellano a little bit more behind the scenes, and everybody's questions hopefully got answered. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you, you got social media you want to send out there?
Yes, I do. Jose Arellano on Facebook. Jose Dinamita Arellano on Instagram, and Jose Arellano 40 on Snapchat.
There you go. Any shout outs, team shout outs, anybody?
Yes, I do.
Special shout outs, family, whoever.
Well, I want to, of course, my family, of course, my people, everybody who supports me, who's always tuning in. K-Squad Boxing, like I said, thank you again. Thank you guys for everything. It's just an honor, and you know, it's a blessing to be with you guys. Virreal Los Chingones, Taquería Sinaloense, Most Wanted Barbershop. Y también un shout out a Eduardo que me llevó allá a San Carlos, Sonora para mi pelea.
There you go, guys. So that's Jose Arellano in as a nutshell that we can contain. But hopefully we'll have him back here on his next fight and talk a little bit, maybe before his fight, and talk about his journey. But until next time, I'm Raul Tejada, your host for Inside Boxing TV's Throwdown. And we'll see you next week.
Oh, and also thank you guys for having me on the show.
Definitely.
It's a pleasure.
Jose,
thank you guys.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yes.